Hello, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where Ohio forms an empire. So, similar to the Wyoming video, for this to work, the US has to collapse, so it has now collapsed. And Ohio will be starting off its empire by looking at its neighbors and choosing the weakest, which is West Virginia. So, Ohio will start invading West Virginia. And West Virginia is not very strong of a state, so it won't last pretty long. And if things weren't bad enough, Virginia decides to take back some of its old land, so they get involved. And they also invade. And with this, West Virginia falls pretty fast. So, anyways, in the treaty, all of this land will be going to Ohio, and the rest will go to West Virginia. The rest will go to Virginia. West Virginia is dead. So Virginia takes this part of West Virginia, and Ohio gets this part here. With this, Ohio's next victim will be their greatest enemy, Michigan. These two hate each other, and because of that, Ohio will invade Michigan. So Ohio starts invading Michigan and pushes in. And if that wasn't bad enough for Michigan, Wisconsin decides to join in to take over this part. So they start pushing in as well. Ohio will push up over here and take a bunch of this land. Eventually, Michigan will fall over to Ohio and Wisconsin. And with that, a peace treaty will be signed where all of this Michigan is annexed by Ohio and the rest is given over to Wisconsin. So with that, Ohio gets even bigger as they now have all of Michigan. And now they decide that the border is looking a bit bad, so why not fix it by taking Indiana? So they start pushing into Indiana. And Indiana will fall pretty quickly, as Ohio has a massive buff and is already, I'm pretty sure, beating Indiana in most things. So with that, they are fully annexed by Ohio. The Ohio Empire is now looking pretty big, but it's going to get even bigger as they then invade into Kentucky, because they want some Kentucky Fried Chicken. So they start pushing in. And Kentucky will not last very long, as they quickly fall over to Ohio. With this, they are fully annexed. Ohio will then start looking around, and after a bit of waiting, they go silent and build up the military for a little bit, but then they will invade Pennsylvania, which is probably the strongest country they've invaded, or state, but I guess they're all countries now since the US collapsed, so they're probably the strongest that Ohio has invaded so far. So with this, Ohio will struggle a bit more than usual, but eventually they will still push in and make Pennsylvania collapse. With this, they will be fully annexed by Ohio as well, as Ohio is just fully annexing these, and Ohio decides why not get some coastline and invade New Jersey. So, after declaring war on New Jersey, they will quickly just walk in there, and after some fighting, it will fall pretty quickly, and before your next as well. With this, Ohio now has access to the Atlantic. Ohio will next declare air war on both Delaware and Maryland, and will quickly start pushing into both, as Delaware quickly falls, and soon after Maryland. With this, they are both annexed into the Ohio Empire. It's annoying. With that, they fully annex both of these states into their Ohio Empire. With this, some of these other states are starting to get worried, and they will form an alliance against Ohio, or defensive against Ohio. They won't be at war, but this alliance will form to try to stop Ohio expansion. That will involve a lot of these states over here, as all of these join the alliance. Maine states out as they're pretty far away from Ohio and don't really see it as a threat. But Ohio is not going to invade any of these. No, they're going to invade someone else. They're not invading any more states now. They decide to just declare war on. Actually, that looks like it's part of the alliance here. Let me just make these a bit darker. There. Anyways, they decided to just declare war on Canada instead, because Canada was not part of the alliance, so they cannot be defended. And Ohio will start pushing into Canada. And we'll take this land here. It will go up and take all of this. This is really all they want. Actually, they want some of this, so they'll go around like this. And now they've taken all they want, and with this they will agree a peace with Canada. In it, they will get this land. Actually, I need to get rid of that, so in the peace treaty they will get the land that they took, so this here. With that, the Ohio Empire is now owns part of Canada. Now the Ohio Empire will be going to war with the alliance over here. No, that's not what I want. So they declare war on the alliance over here that was done to defend from Ohio, and with this they will start pushing into New York, which they will probably struggle a bit with, since it is New York. However, they will cut off. They will cut New York into two. They will then. This part of New York will probably fall pretty quickly. It's mostly down here they need to worry about, which will start to push back as they push back over here with a little bit of help from Connecticut. But this is mostly just going to be the Ohio Empire versus New York, with just a little bit of help to New York. Eventually Ohio will push back down here. I'm gonna start pushing these troops back. The troops will start going into Ohio. However, up here, all of this will fall. They will then start pushing into Vermont and New Hampshire. Eventually, all of this up here will fall over, and soon after, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut will follow. With this, New York will fall, and with that, the war will be over. So, looking at Peachtree here. Oh wait, get these white again. Do this the annoying way. There. Anyways, looking at Peachtree here. Ohio will be taking this land. Here. And the rest of these states will... Actually, they're going to take a bit more. They're going to take this as well. They're taking all of these two. Connecticut and Rhode Island. So with that, they now look like this. And here we have the Ohio Empire at its height. Following this, we will see Michigan break away. And we will also see a rebellion in Canada, so that will break away. With these rebellions breaking out, other rebellions across the area will break out, like down here in Kentucky and West Virginia. This rebellion will also eventually go all the way up into Indiana as they gain ground. And soon after, rebellions will break out over here and Ohio will completely fall apart. And looking in the future, the world will look like this again. Going back to how it was before Ohio ever formed an empire. However, now Ohio is a lot weaker than they were before they formed their empire, so... More of the story is just be glad with what you have now and don't go invading your neighbors. But thank you for watching, and goodbye.